it. All right, Tom. On to some running backs here. We'll talk a little more about quarterbacks later, some additional ones, but CMC was hurt. I've seen, Tom, you got to clarify this for us, oblique and rib. I saw he was going to miss a lot of time. Now it seems like it's not a serious injury. And I think they play Monday, which makes things tricky against the Vikings. What do you have on CMC?
We're in a interesting state now where if anything happens to Christian McCaffrey, God forbid he has a paper cut, the entire fantasy football community is going to lose their freaking mind and assume that he is done forever. That is not the case here. It's an oblique injury, and he had the MRI the other day, and then like right away it's like, oh, after the MRI, it's like, oh, he might play Monday. That tells us this is a super minor injury. The obliques, one of our abdominal muscles, it attaches on the ribs as well as some other places. That's why rib is also included in there. Its job is to twist our torso. So if you think someone like McCaffrey, who's a big time pass catcher, you may have to turn his torso to make a catch. That's where it could be a little bit hampering him. Also bracing for contact. But this year we've seen Jalen Waddle and Puka Nacua have this injury, not really miss much time and not really see much effect on their game, and so far at least not have a recurrence. So I am not concerned at all with this.
All right. Great news, even though he does play Monday. Still going extremely strong. The fantasy RB1 right now. You guys at home, I'm going to ask Tom this question. And, Tom, you can think about it for a couple seconds here. Who are the next 9 running backs behind him? Because I'm going to give you a little second at home here to think about this, because I'd like you to participate in our show, shout it out in your car to your wife or to your friends. It's just, I'm looking at this list and I just want to be sick because 1, I don't really have many of these guys. And 2, if somebody told me this would be the top 10 about a third or so way through the season, I think I would lose it. It's just, fantasy is unbelievable. Tom, how many of the next 9 can you name this year? Let's see.
All right. Let me see. Travis Etienne.
Correct.
Kyron Williams.
Correct.
He's not high on there, but Tony Pollard's probably on there.
Nope. Outside.
Okay. Damn. DeAndre Swift.
Correct. Crazy.
Zach Moss.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
You're missing a couple.
Montgomery.
Montgomery's in there. Yep.
That's what, 5?
Yeah, you're missing number 2 and number 7 and 10.
10, 7, and 2. Don't tell me yet. Give me a conference.
Well, 2 and 5 are on the same team.
The same team?
Yeah. One just missed a week. AFC.
Oh boy.
AFC East.
AFC.
They're on the Dolphins.
They're on. Oh, dumb.
I drove. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And yeah.
Breece Hall.
Creeping up into that mix, but not there. 10. I'll give you 10. 10's Bijan. He's been fine, but not excellent. And then 7 is Ken Walker. Like names like Mostert, Kyron Williams, Devon A-Chain. Is that like? It's crazy. But CMC, of course, topping that list. But that was a fun little activity, Tom. I'll give you a B-. But
that's passing.
It is. Now, let's talk just quickly through, just in case. So, Tom, you seem like you're not that worried about CMC. We're okay, hopefully, right? But just the guys behind them, because I think it's a little bit dicey, and I think it's worth it to talk about for a minute. So, on their actual depth chart, Elijah Mitchell is listed as the RB2, and Shanahan has been vocal that he likes him. Realistically, we know, and I know from experience, Mitchell is a guy who is always hurt. He seems like he's always hurt. I think he's on the tail end of his career. Last week, 2 carries for -3 yards. He didn't look great. Now,
it's not the right direction.
It's not. Literally not the right direction. Now, Jordan Mason is listed next. I love Jordan Mason as not even close to CMC. I think he's so much better than Elijah Mitchell. That doesn't mean he's going to get the reps, but he's the guy that I would prefer in this backfield. He runs hard. He's hard to tackle. He probably could start for a handful of teams. Last week, 5 carries for 27 yards, a lot better than 2 carries for -3 yards. I know Shanahan likes Mitchell, but I think if something was to happen to CMC or just for a handcuff situation, I really like Jordan Mason. So That's my 2 cents on it. Let's move on to another running back, Tom, Aaron Jones, who has a hamstring injury. And before you go, Tom, it's been for Jones drafters, it's been ugly. I mean, it's been ugly for a lot of us this year, but he had a 25.7 half PPR points in week 1, 1.9 points in week 4. I think that's when he got hurt. And that's been it. But you do have the Packers coming off a bye. What's the deal with Aaron Jones?
It was week 1 that he got hurt. So he did all of that in about 3 quarters, and he missed 2 games, returns in week 4, and only plays 35% of the snaps. Unclear if that's when he got re-injured or if he re-injured it in practice the following week. But either way, he re-injured the same hamstring. And we've seen this story a lot. When an older player, he's 28, has the hamstring injury early in the season, it comes back, same exact injury, gets worse again, and then it lingers all season long. Let's hope that's not the case with Jones, but right now I don't feel great about him. The age is absolutely part of it. If he was 23, 24, I wouldn't be as concerned. But we've already seen him have 2 hamstring injuries, the same one in about a 4-week span. And we know that the 2 biggest risk factors for injury are prior injury and age. And while 28 doesn't sound old to a lot of people, for running backs, it is. Green Bay has a history of being very cautious when bringing their players back from injury. So even if he does play this week, I do not expect him to see a gigantic snap share. I would expect it to be a lot of A.J. Dillon not really doing much, but still being on the field. I think unless your back's really against the wall, you want to hold him out this week. If he plays, hopefully he does play, and hopefully he doesn't get re-injured. And if that's the case, then next week we have this discussion again, and hopefully it's more optimistic.
Hard pill to swallow if you do have Jones. And I listened to your advice, I think last week or the week before, when you told us to sit T. Higgins. And I think T. Higgins had like 1 or 2 catches. It was a great
catches for 20 yards.
Yeah, it was an awesome take by you. Sometimes it is hard to do these things and swallow your pride a little bit and sit a guy like Aaron Jones, who's been a staple in the fantasy world for years. But I don't disagree with what you're saying. I mean, they are coming off a bye. Hopefully he did have more time to rest. It's just unfortunate because I just think A.J. Dillon stinks too. I mean, this year, man, an abysmal 3.0 yards per carry. And in my research, Tom, I found out, here's another thing that is just absurd. I found out A.J. Dillon's real name. His first name is, his name is Algiers Jamil William Dillon Jr. What a name. Congratulations,
AJ. It makes me actually want to have him on my team.
I think I'm more interested now. Algiers, it's spelled almost like Tyler Algier. Awesome. But I don't love him, but you know what? If he's going to get the lion's share of the carries, then it'd be funny if they were playing the Lions. Would have been a great pun. Not this time. I would, I guess, play him. And I guess the good news there, if you really need to play Jones or really anybody on this offense, because I think you can get Christian Watson a good week this week. I think you could sneak Dobbs into your lineup this week because they play, Tom, the absolute Mickey Mouse, Disney character filled, I don't know what the hell you want to call this defense, the Broncos. It's basically impossible to not succeed and to not have a career game against the Broncos. You got Mickey Mouse at defensive tackle. You got Minnie at cornerback, Donald Duck at the corner at safety. You got, I don't know what the hell's going on in that defense, but it's atrocious. They're dead last in total yards allowed, 30th in pass defense, 32nd, which is dead last in run defense, 32nd in points allowed, and the Packers are coming off a bye. Like, if this is an opportunity to play any Packer, I think this is it. I mean, I'm worried about Jones as you are, but I guess if you're desperate, my take is that you can sneak him in. But, Tom's usually right on these things, and I might go with him. All right, Tom.